Nigerian leather is reputed to be among the finest in the world. From local tanneries to major brands across Europe, Asia, and America, Nigerian hides travel through complex stages of production and transportation, ultimately finding a place on the shelves of iconic brands such as Gucci, Prada, Louis Vuitton, Ralph Lauren, and Zara. From raw animal skin to a symbol of human luxury, we followed the process at Z Tannery to see how they source, process, and keep it going. The Z Tannery in Kano State, Nigeria, receives animal skins in all dimensions. Workers immediately begin sorting them by size, a fundamental step that ensures efficient and consistent processing down the line.
We have small size, we call them the lamb and light. We have the medium size, we have the heavy size, we have the extra heavy. But for convenience sake, because like during Salah, you have a lot of volume of supply. So we can be able to grade them according to sizes. But at off-peak period like now, we don't have that supply as much. So we can combine the sizes. The smaller sizes, the lamb light, we take them as a small size. The medium heavy, we combine it as a size and process it separately. Then the extra heavy jumbo, process it. In other words, from the various sizes you have, we can group them together and get only 3 major sizes for processing. Why we do this is because by the time you mix the younger animal skins, which is the lamb, the smaller size, with the heavy skins, you will not achieve the same results. The heavy skins are thicker, they are bigger, they have more affinity for absorption of chemicals than the smaller skins. So while the bigger ones are absorbing the chemicals faster, you are stuffing the smaller skins.
To guarantee quality, all segments unsuitable for the final product, including the head, feet, and legs, are meticulously trimmed away at the outset. The next step is paddling, considered the first true stage of production. In large rotating drums, the hides are thoroughly washed to remove all dirt, blood, and soak residues. This process is critical not only for cleaning, but also for rehydration. After the rigors of transportation, the leather arrives at the factory in a stiff, dried state. Paddling rehydrates the hides, returning them to a supple, natural condition, ready for the chemical transformations to come.
You can see some fats attached. Now we don't have enough stock, so in this paddle, the skins are of mixed sizes. Now it is on the soaking stage, and after the process, we'll stop the paddle. We'll be running 10 minutes every 1 hour overnight. Tomorrow, the stage that we're going to go into tomorrow is the liming. There are some chemicals we apply also to reduce the amount of fat that we have in it, the greasing agent.
This process will last for 24 hours.
When you wash completely, there's a test you have to carry out. The Bomé, we call it the Bomé, concentration of salt solution in the bath. We make sure that the Bomé is 0,0. Like us, we can sometimes dip your finger, test it. When you do proper washing, you see you not even test salt again. But when the skin came, the preservation for raw skin only is salt. It's the basic preservative chemical in the tannery at the raw state. Prevents bacteria attack, prevents the flies depositing anything on it. So that salt now, you have to wash it off, otherwise it will hinder the chemicals that you are going to apply in further processing.
The next stage of the process is liming.
Liming process is a stage where you destroy the epidermis of the leather. Leather has 3 layers. The epidermis is the outer layer of the skin. In biology, you call the epidermis the dead cell. Okay. Secondly, in the paddle, you remove the hair. There are chemicals were applied to burn off the hair. So you remove epidermis, you remove the hair. So then we apply another chemical which will plump the leather up. The leather plumping means it will increase the thickness so that by the time it goes to mechanical processes, it will not collapse.
Washing takes 24 hours. Liming takes 24 hours. On the third day, fleshing begins.
The work of the fleshing machine now is to remove any excess flesh attached to the leather. What is excess flesh? The meat we eat. Because when the butchers are slaughtering, they are flaying it, removing the skin from the animal. The tendency for some part of the meat to be attached to the skin is there. So that meat is not leather. It has to be removed.
This is the second stage of the production. And that is where this machine comes in. This fleshing machine removes all excess skin from the leather, leaving only the corium.
So when you have 1,800 in the paddle, after fleshing, your weight is expected to drop by at least 24 to 30%, theoretically. Your weight drop. You have removed the skin, the hair, you remove the dirt, you remove the flesh attached at the fleshing machine, you scale the leather again before putting it in the tanning drum for further processing.
In the tanning drums, the process of deliming begins. This removes all chemicals and fat left in the material through another process known as degreasing and bathing, where chromium salts stabilize the collagen fibers. This transforms them into wet blue, a durable semi-processed leather with a distinctive pale blue hue, ready for splitting and eventual dyeing.
These are all the processed materials. We call it wet blue. The name is derived as wet blue because it is wet and also bluish in color. So this is the first stage production in the tannery, from raw skin to wet blue. And when we process this to wet blue, we keep it for 5 days to age. In this process of aging, the chemicals will cross-link and bind together before it will move from here to setting out machine. This is setting out machine. We have 4, but for now, with less job, we have 2 operational. The setting out machine will sand and set this leather and flatten it to make it easy for selection. 2, it will remove wrinkles or all these foldings, we call it crease mark. The setting out machine will open the leather so that the selectors will be able to have a flat surface to check selection. Also, setting out will reduce the moisture content in the leather by squeezing out, summing out much of the moisture in the leather to flatten it, give it a regular shape, because we are going to sell this skin by area. We have a measuring machine that will measure this leather and will sell by area. So the importance of this is to flatten the leather. Take this on. You can see it has flattened out the leather. You can see same leather you saw now with a lot of wrinkles, with a lot of folding. It has flattened it out with this machine. And you can see the water that is coming out from after squeezing it. See a lot of water that is coming out. So that the selectors now can be able to select it, grade it, and see where there is defect. It helps the selectors to check where there is defect in selection. Moisture has been reduced, skin has been flattened, area has been increased.
To ensure quality of the finished product, the leather will be meant to undergo a process called the boil test. You boil it, you take the leather, you take a cardboard paper, have a shape of the leather drawn on that cardboard paper, put a hole on the leather, put a rope,
hang it to boil in the boiling water, boil the water, boil. Then after 5 minutes, you take out the leather, put it in the position that you cut it before. We cut two, one on the neck, one on the butt. The butt is at the tail end. Draw them out, boil them for 5 minutes, take them out, put it back in the positions, neck to neck and the butt to butt. See if there is any shrinkage. This is a test for shrinkage. If there is shrinkage, your leather is not yet well tanned. You cannot drop it. But if there's no shrinkage, your leather is okay for dropping. Because when you drop it, your customer is going to boil test overseas. So we take all the necessary critical checks in the factory before dropping, selecting, palletizing, and exporting the leather. So this is the first stage of the leather production, which is the wet blue. You see they are selecting there. This is the wet blue. It is wet and it is bluish in color.
The material is selected, sorted, and graded into different sizes. Grades A, B, and C are considered standard grades, while D and E are lower grades. Grade F is regarded as unsuitable for standard use.
This is the first article produced in the leather, in the tannery. Then there are further processes.
Due to the slow production period, we were unable to film the other processes involved. Much of the material being processed was collected during the Salah season, when Muslims observe a religious festival marked by the large-scale slaughter of cattle.
The production is all like Salah time. So we are doing like 5,000 in a day. Not every day, but in a day we are doing 5,000 pieces. With these 5,000 pieces, the staff strength that we need is around 120, 115, something like that. But Salah time, you need more people because there is more production, because you are receiving 20,000, 15,000 pieces in a day. So you need people that are going to start it trimming from the beginning. The people that are going to trim 15,000 pieces. You need people like 15 people also, the one that are going to take cover and puzzles. You need inflation, you need in scaling and loading, you need in piling, you need more people in drums.
This is a long process. A batch of skin may take almost 21 days to get to completion. Every step is critical. Else, minor errors could render the material useless and rejected by the clients.
This is the measuring and packing section of the factory, where skins are measured, packed, palletized for exports.
Nigerian leather is one of the best in the world, and that's why you see our leather is being sold all over the world. It's the best for shoes and bags. The Nigerian fiber is the best in the world, and it's. But what you see is, at the end of the day, made in Italy or made in Germany or made in the USA. It's actually, the source is Nigerian. It's the leather, the Nigerian leather, the fibers, how it's made is amazing. And what we do is we import our chemicals from all over the world. We import from Italy, from the best markets in the world. What we have done is we have brought both worlds into, we have connected both worlds. And we produce a product that is international standards, and we follow international standards, and we make it into product that is internationally accepted everywhere in the world. And what they do is they do some finishings on it, and they write made in Italy, made in wherever. But actually what is happening is it's Nigerian leather. It's made in Nigeria, and it's small finishings that have been done there, and then they can put made in anywhere in Europe. We export on a weekly basis. We do containers, we do air shipments, we work. But what we used to, let's say we used to export $10 million, we're down to 2 now. So it's a big challenge of the market has gone down a lot. It's because of situations in the world. It's you know, the more important things now are food and war. That's what's happening. So nobody's thinking about buying new shoes or new bags. I'm talking about the majority of the world. They're not thinking about these things. They're thinking about surviving. So that's where we are now. That's why exports have gone down. But we are hoping for world peace and to come back into what we used to be.
This is finished leather. From the same skin, you can see the back. From the same skin, this is the crust. When you only dye it and you have not sprayed it, it's called crust. But when you have sprayed it, it becomes finished leather. This is ready now for article. Some customers need crust to do their finishing in Europe. Some customers want you to finish them for them. They just use it for articles. This is a black crust. And as I told you earlier, black finished leather. Brown finished. Emerald green, traffic light. Olive.
For garments, shoes, bags, and a wide range of leather products, Nigerian leather is highly preferred by artisans around the world. Exporting through middlemen has denied Nigerian tanneries the credit they deserve. Despite mass production and large-scale exportation, the country's leather industry continues to struggle, not only to reclaim its place as one of the world's finest leather producers, but also to keep it going.
If you're interested in these kinds of stories, kindly subscribe and tap the notification button to get notified on all our stories. Follow at Africa Stitches on all social media platforms.